Are you looking to level up on Steam very quickly with a very cheap price? Check out the website steamlevelup.com. Pay with card, crypto, skins, or even Steam gems, and they'll send you a trade with complete card sets that you simply need to craft to level up. Visit the link in the description for more information. Welcome back to week 21 of top 5 Steam profiles of the week. We got some stunning artwork to get into this week, so let's get started. Coming in at 5th place, we have Witch Thoth with a black and red darkness themed profile. Looking into his workshop showcase, we can see a very nicely animated skull character with some vibrant pulsing blasts behind him in the background. We can also see some red auras around the character, and at the bottom, their name with some similar effects. Moving onwards, we can see an achievement showcase with the date 1989. I'm not too sure what the significance of that is, and below that we can see another featured artwork showcase of a child angel with black wings. I really like the halo sort of levitating effect on this one, as well as the breathing animation. Overall, I think you did a great job on this profile. The colors and theme follow each other very well throughout all the showcases, and if I would have just one suggestion for you, it would be from more of a design standpoint. I try to see if I can get this shadow from the halo here, sort of to be moving in sync with the movement of the actual halo. Other than that though, congratulations on getting 5th place. Taking us into 4th place, we have my main man, Rain. Rain has a red themed anime profile. Getting into it, we can see a very basic artwork showcase here with some very minimal saber effects on the hand. Scrolling down, we can see an achievement showcase that says their name. And just below that, we can see my favorite part of the profile, which is a series of workshop showcases of scenes from various shows. In the first set of workshop showcases, we can see the first one says, "Welcome to my profile," followed by a few scenes from the series Dragon Slayer, I believe. Below that, we can see 3 more scenes. And I'm not exactly too sure where these scenes are from, but I think they look awesome. I like the blue and red contrast in these scenes as well. I think it's just really cool, and they complement each other very well. After that, we can see yet another set of artwork showcases. This time, they are in the similar length as the workshop showcases to try to keep in some consistency between the profile. I'm not too quite familiar with which show these ones are from either, to be honest with you, but I do think they still look pretty good. Finally, underneath those, we have a last set of artwork showcases. And yet again, I don't really know what show these ones are from, but they all seem to follow a red theme. The only critique I'd have with these kinds of workshop showcases is the sort of inconsistency with some of the borders. Some artworks have a white border and other ones don't. I'd recommend either make them all white or all have no border. Underneath those, we can see an info box with some facts and questions about him, as well as some miscellaneous guides and groups to fill up some space. Underneath those, we can see a completionist showcase with some of his achievements, and it seems like Rainoff likes to 100% games. Continuing downwards, we can see an items up for trade showcase showing some of his CSGO items, and a ping pong style text effect here. Finally, we can see some more CSGO related showcases such as a review, and this dude has over 3,000 hours to CSGO, so props to you, man. And we can see as well as a miscellaneous item showcase with some medals from CSGO. Overall, congratulations Rain on getting 4th place. I think this is a super well put together profile, and as mentioned previously, the only critique I would have is the inconsistency with the borders. In 3rd place, we got my main man, Nunik. Nunik has actually been super active in our Discord recently, so shout out to you, my man. Nunik has a pretty interesting profile I haven't really quite seen on Steam. He has a few showcases, each with different characters, and each character is supposed to be a different country human. Starting us off here in his artwork showcase, we can see we have the character for China. What I particularly like here is the detail of the hair animation of this character. Although it's not obvious at first, if you take a look at these individual strands of the hairs, each of them are animated independently, and I think that adds a lot to this showcase. There's also some nice breathing animations as well as some movement on all of the fingers, which is a very nice touch. This is one of these artworks where the more you look at it, the more you see, so great job. Below that, we can see an achievement showcase saying their name, as well as the second character, which is from the Ukraine SSR, or the Ukrainian Socialist Republic. Continuing onwards, we can see an item showcase with some hearts, moons, and bunnies. And just below that, we can see the country of Crimea expressed as a character. Fun fact, the big dog Nunik is also from Crimea, so shout out to that. Under that, we can see some badges continuing onto the theme. And below that, we can observe a featured artwork showcase, and this showcase features Finland. Here we can see some beautiful animations such as movement in the hair, clothes, slight glares on the glasses, and small movement of the eyes. It's very minimalistic, but very well put together. Great job. Below that, we can see some more information about him, such as the fact that he's a freelance photographer, and in his guide showcase, we can see the Russian SFSR. Below that, we have a screenshot showcase, which is Finland once again, and this time in another winter-like scene. This one's animated a bit less. There are still some nice touches though, all around the profile. If you take a look, we can see some movement of the hair, as well as a glare on this sort of metal bit of the necklace. Finally, we can see the last showcase, which is the Russian SFSR again, and I believe this is the newest animation that Nunik actually documented in our Discord. So if you guys are not in the Discord, please feel free to join down below in the description. What I liked the most about this artwork is the name on the scarf. His name is very subtle here, but once you see it, I think it's just really cool, and I think it's a very nice touch. Overall, Nunik, I think this is an amazing profile, and as of right now, I have really no other critiques of it. Congratulations on 3rd place. Coming in at 2nd place, we have Barricades. Barricades has actually entered top 5 profiles multiple times, so congratulations on finally getting in. He also uses a name changer, so if you check out his profile, it's most likely not going to be the same name. Getting into his artwork showcase, we can see a very nicely animated character. I'm not too quite sure what the name is of this character, but I really like the wing movement here, as well as the hair animation. I also think that this blink is animated very nicely, but if it was me, I would have slowed down the blink just a little bit. We can also see some nice particles going up towards the top right of the artwork. Continuing downwards, we can see another workshop showcase of Aki Hayakawa with some beautiful animations. I like the cigarette smoke animation here, as well as the blinking, as well as the hair. I think the hair movement is very well made. If you look closely though at the sort of smoke source, it's actually just slightly bit off from the tip of the cigarette. So I try to move that up a little bit and fix that up. That's the only critique I do have for this artwork though. I also really like the red border effects that go across almost all of the artwork on this profile. Continuing downwards, we can see another showcase of Hirofumi, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think that's him. And I think that the tentacles are very well made here. If you look closely, the movement of the tip of the tentacle is much more exaggerated versus the base that's right next to his shoulder. And this small attention to detail is what makes this so much more realistic. So very well done. Continuing onwards, we can see another showcase of Mikasa and Eren. In this one, I really like the movement of the thumb sort of rubbing on the lip here. I think it's a very nice and subtle touch. I think the blinking animations on these ones are also very well made. Below that, we can see a review showcase of what seems to be the character Scream, expressed as emojis. And underneath that, we can see who I believe is Armin Arlert, who is the god of destruction in his anime series. I like the red flame effect on the character in the background, and if you look closely, you can see a very quick fade animation of the plasma. This is used to make the artwork loop, and sometimes if you do it too quickly, it can be a little bit noticeable. I'd see if you could slow down this fade a little bit just to make it loop a little bit more nicely. Continuing downwards, we can see a blue-themed workshop showcase of 2 characters looking at each other. I'm not quite sure who these people are, but once again, we can see similar breathing and hair effects on these ones as the rest of the profile. Below that, we can see a character from Nier Automata with the same animations as well. We can see the breathing animation as well as a hand animation, and the hair here is animated beautifully. Below that, we can see another animation of 2 characters, here half red and half blue, and these animations are in tone with the rest of the profile, so I don't want to repeat myself too much. Reaching the end here, we can see the final showcase of Shoto and Momo, with once again the same animations as the rest of the profile. Finally, we can see some basic information about him in his info box. Overall, I think this is a super cool profile with a bunch of animations, but I do have a few suggestions. I'd go ahead and stick with a red theme altogether. You should have mixed the red and blue, and I think that kind of sets the profile back a little bit. Although some of these blue animations are nice, I'd go ahead and just remove them outright. I think it would up the profile a little bit more and make the theme a little bit stronger. Moreover, I'd also take this info box here at the very bottom and I'd bring it more towards the top. I think it's a bit ironic to introduce yourself at the bottom of the profile. so I'd move it up a little bit if you can. Other than that though, great work and congratulations on second place. And finally, coming in at first place, we have Wavy with a purple themed profile. Wavy has one of the most unique and well-made profiles I've ever seen, if I'm going to be honest. Getting into his workshop showcase, we can see a purple themed character with Gengar in the background, who is a Pokemon character. We can observe some awesome purple hair animations on this character, as well as a nice blinking animation. I also really like how the breathing of the character is synced up with the hair, and I think it's an awesome attention to detail. The plasma and purple particles in the background are also very well animated. There's also some subtle animations across all parts of the profile, and if you look closely at each of the red orbs along the character, you can also see that they all have individual glowing animations. The blinking effect on Gregor, however, is just like so perfectly made. It's honestly one of the nicest blinking animations I've ever seen. Scrolling down into his achievement showcase, we can see some text spelling out "Welcome to my profile," also still following the same purple theme, and underneath that we can see an amazingly animated saber effect with some nice distortion effects. The outline of Gengar before it all sort of pulses into frame is really nice. One thing I'd personally edit with this one though is I'd go ahead and remove Gengar from the background here on the right side. I think it's a little bit distracting from the overall image, and I think the main animation is more than enough. Underneath that, we can see an info box saying that Wavy is in the top 40 highest levels in Malaysia, sitting at level 169. And I'm gonna give a quick shout out to myself. If you guys do want to level up your profile, please check out steamlevelup.com, which is my website. Continuing downwards, we can see an achievement showcase saying his name, and this is followed by a screenshot showcase of CSGO with a Tokyo themed purple background. We can also see some purple guides, achievements, and a purple favorite guide that all flow with the Gengar themed profile. I really like the favorite guide though, and I think honestly that's one of my favorite parts of the profile. I think it's just a very neat and simple animation, but it's just so well made. Below those, we can see some item showcases, and we can see that Wavy seems to have a purple themed CSGO inventory. Finally, to end us off, we can see in items up for trade showcasing some CSGO pins and some basic information about Wavy and his setup. One thing I'd recommend here is to move this info box to the very top and replace it with the Steam ladder ranking info box. It seems like your welcome information is at the very bottom of the profile, and that seems a little bit counterintuitive. Typically, you want to put that at the very top. Overall though, I think this is a very well put together profile, and one of the best we've seen on top 5 profiles so far. And although there aren't too many showcases here, it just goes to show you that the quality of the showcases is what really matters. So once again, congratulations on getting first place, Wavy. That's going to go ahead and wrap up this week's top 5 Steam profiles of the week. I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to all of those who participated, and if you are looking to enter for next week, simply join the Discord down below in the description and paste in your profile link in the hashtag top 5 profiles chat. If you did enjoy the video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are still a very small channel, so it really does help us out. Other than that though, I don't think I have anything else left for you guys, so I'll see y'all next week.